Hi, I'm Dr. Matt B, and these are your emotional minutes. And welcome back. And I'm actually here in Lake Tahoe, and usually in Lake Tahoe you can see the other side of the lake pretty well and all the mountains and different parts of the lake. But actually a lot of wildfires this summer have made it so that's really kind of socked in by smoke now. And these wildfires are becoming stronger and stronger and more common. And a lot of people are really concerned about climate change and the effects of climate change. And a lot of us are really worried it'll make it so we can't really enjoy the places that we usually enjoy. And even brings up issues of survivability. Will we be able to sort of survive and live on this planet? And will future generations be able to do that as well? Now, stress and anxiety and even feeling really discouraged about the effects of climate change is actually really natural and understandable. I mean, these are a lot of things that we have not really experienced in our lifetime or in recorded history. And there are continuously reports coming out from scientific organizations and the UN really saying that the effects of climate change are really much worse than we expected, and that a lot of changes are needed if we're still going to really survive on this planet. So there's a number of things that you can do to help relieve that stress or anxiety or even discouragement about climate change. Now, the first thing you can do about stress about climate change is to actually seek social support from trusted sources, friends or family members who you know you can talk to, and really discussing with them kind of how climate change has affected you and the stress or anxiety or discouragement that you may feel about it. Now, one thing that's important about that is not to focus too much in those conversations about sort of political issues surrounding climate change, or why you might agree or disagree with some political viewpoint on climate change. Another thing you can do is really try to limit your exposure to news and news media. Sometimes people can sort of fall into the trap of just sort of really continuously engaging news media, and that can really keep you in sort of a negative headspace where you're kind of continuously, sort of focused on those things and ruminating. And really what that does is it just kind of keeps your attention put on that, but it never actually solves any problems. So I usually recommend, sort of absorbing that stuff maybe for 5 minutes or less a day. The third thing you can do is really do whatever you can to engage in meaningful or enjoyable activities, things that are sort of you things that you like to do and that you enjoy. And what that can do is that can sort of, again, focus that attention away from the really sort of distressing aspects or always kind of having those things on your mind about climate change. And the fourth thing you can do really concerns a sense of control. Now, so much of anxiety and stress in our lives can actually be driven by a sense of a lack of control, or your control to affect certain things or certain realities. Now, one of the things that you can do to at least give you a sense of control is to really take back the sense of control on the issue itself. And the first thing that takes is actually learning more about the issue. What are the things that really contribute to climate change? So looking at reputable and scientifically based sources on climate change and sort of why climate change has increased as much as it has, and sort of the initial kind of causes of climate change in our everyday lives. Now, consuming some of that information can be anxiety provoking or can be distressing. And so one of the things that is really important is to really be able to sort of understand what's going on so that you're actually informed about the issues and the topics, and you really have a good sense of what's going on with climate change. And really the purpose of that, and the reason that that's important, even if it does bring up feelings of stress or anxiety, is that can really help inform how you might approach climate change in your own life. So what are some ways that you might sort of change things or take control of your own life, or control of aspects of your life that might actually benefit or help the climate or help the earth? And so some examples of this might be really sort of being able to understand and take action on how you might make changes in your life in terms of the energy you can consume. How do you make changes to electric or solar energy, for example? Also, how do you sort of understand how to make changes in your carbon footprint or the amount of energy that you use overall? And another good example of this, of sort of feeling like you're taking control or putting some control over the situation, is really writing lawmakers to let them know, how you feel about the issue and what you would like to see done about it. And also understanding and researching the desired policies of new candidates who might be running for office, and sort of inform how you might vote. And so these things can all really make you feel a sense of control or a sense of effectiveness in your own life and how you might sort of make efforts to reduce the impacts of climate change. So hopefully that was helpful today in talking about ways you might deal with stress or anxiety or even discouragement about climate change. And if you are more interested in this topic and want to get some of that sort of well-informed information, I'll actually leave some links with this post. And so again, I'm Dr. Matt B, and these are your Emotional Minutes, and we will see you next time.